Welcome everybody to the review of the first ever Toyota Tacoma Hybrid. So yeah, you heard that right. For the first time ever, the best-selling mid-size truck in America is available with a hybrid engine. We are out in San Diego, California to drive the new hybrid version of the Tacoma. This is the first time that anybody has been able to drive the hybrid variant of the Tacoma. We have already a full review of the gas-only variant, but if you're interested in buying the new hybrid variant, you're going to be interested in this video. You find me behind the wheel of a TRD off-road variant, and we're doing a off-road course. We are at this really cool ranch right near the border between the United States and Mexico, where they have us doing a lot of off-roading. I tried to nab the keys to a limited Tacoma, which also is available with this hybrid powertrain, but the trucks just really aren't available. So I'm going to be filming pretty much this entire review without touching the pavement. So straight off the bat, it's important to know which trim levels you're going to be able to get the hybrid in. Obviously, the TRD Pro and the new Trail Hunter trim, those are kind of the top off-road trims. Those are only available with a hybrid. You cannot get a gas-only version of either of those two trucks. Now, if you're not willing to spend that much money on a Tacoma, there are some lower trims available. There's the TRD Off-Road, which I'm driving now. There's the TRD Sport, and then there's the Limited, which is kind of the most road-focused one, kind of the most luxurious one as well. Now let's talk about the hybrid setup itself, because it is a hybrid, but it's not the wimpiest of hybrid systems. It's a pretty meaty one. We've got the 2.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. It's basically the same one that you get in the standard Tacoma. So that one is called the iForce, but if you get the hybrid, it's called iForce Max. So in addition to the turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, you also have a 48 horsepower electric motor and a 1.87 kilowatt hour battery. So that's a really, really small battery compared to what's in most hybrids. And it's in the transmission, like between the engine and the transmission. So it's really there to just deliver power in the events that you need for towing or for off-roading and stuff like that. It's not really an efficiency play, as we'll talk about a little bit later. It's very similar to the hybrid system that is in the Toyota Tundra and the Toyota Sequoia, but obviously you're getting a 4-cylinder instead of a twin-turbo V6. The output numbers, incredibly impressive. We get 326 horsepower and a whopping 465 pound-foot of torque going out to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now, the horsepower number is outclassed in this segment by the Ford Ranger Raptor, which has a twin-turbo V6, but nothing in this segment can beat the Tacoma Hybrid on torque with 465 pound-feet. In fact, that's like the same amount of pound-feet of torque as you get from like Chevy's 6.2 liter V8. So that is an immense amount of torque in a mid-sized truck like this. It is so impressive. Not only is it more powerful than the gas-only Tacoma, it is actually a little bit more efficient. So the iForce is going to get about 19 mpg in the city, 23 on the highway, and 20 combined. This i4 Max is going to do quite a little bit better at about 23 in the city, 24 on the highway, and 24 combined. So 4 mpg better despite being more powerful. So you get the power and you get the fuel efficiency if you get the hybrid, which is really great. And it's such a massive improvement over the outgoing 3.5 liter V6. That thing only got like 18 in the city, 22 on the highway, and 20 combined. That's if you got the TRD Pro. So it is really impressive to see that Toyota was able to improve the power, improve the torque, and improve the fuel efficiency. It's not the biggest jump in fuel efficiency. It's not like double or anything crazy like that, but you really can't complain now that you're getting more power and better fuel economy. Now, it's going to change a little bit, the fuel economy, depending on which trim you get. Obviously, something like a Limited is probably going to do a little bit better than a TRD Pro on the road because it doesn't have all-terrain tires and all of that stuff. The all-wheel drive is also going to change a little bit. This TRD off-road that I'm driving has a conventional 4-wheel drive system, so you have 2-wheel high, 4-wheel high, and 4-wheel low. If you get the Limited trim with the hybrid, it's the only way to get full-time four-wheel drive. That one also comes with an adaptive variable suspension that is not available on any of the other Tacoma models. And again, it's going to depend on which trim level you get because they are all quite a little bit different, but 6,000 pounds is going to be the max towing on a hybrid Tacoma. Not the best in class, but it is decently competitive. But now that I've gone ahead and introduced you to the hybrid Tacoma, let's take a look at the two stars of the show here, the ones that nobody has driven yet because they are hybrid only, the TRD Pro and the Trail Hunter. So we're going to start by looking at the Tacoma that everybody knows and loves already, the TRD Pro. Now this is and always has been the top of the Tacoma lineup in terms of off-road performance, and they wanted to go even more extreme with this one. So you're going to notice the new halo exterior color. This is called Terra, also available on the Sequoia and the Tundra and probably the upcoming 4Runner as well. We've got the TRD front end that says Toyota instead of having the Toyota logo. We've also got a ton of ground clearance that we'll talk about a little bit more when we get off-road. We also have the rigid fog lights, which I think really cool. This is a very aggressive looking truck. We've got the black TRD wheels. I think they just look so great on this truck with Wrangler Goodyear Territory rugged terrain tires. This is a really, really good tire, 33 inches. And we've got our Fox suspension here. This is an internal bypass suspension. You actually get different modes that you can adjust here. So there's like 3 different firmness settings depending on if you're off-roading or if you're going to be on the road, which is really cool. So it is very easy to adjust as well. Down here, we've got kind of a rock rail to protect the underside right here. And as we move around to the back, we have a 5-foot bed. That is the only way to get the TRD Pro Tacoma. We've got our big TRD Pro logo stamped here into the back. Our iForce Max letting us know that it is a hybrid. That is the only way to get the TRD Pro, as I mentioned. We also have our ARB rear bumper back here with some tow hooks, and we have our nice TRD side exhaust as well. Moving on to the inside, we're going to see a lot of that aggressiveness carried over here on the inside. We have these really cool ISO dynamic seats. You've got like a little camo pattern here on the inside. It's a little bit hard to see, but you can kind of see it right there. These are the black seats. You can also get a bright red seat, which is crazy looking if you really want a loud interior. Now, interestingly, the backrest doesn't actually move, so the seat is going to be fixed right here. You see there's no seat adjustment here, although you can power slide it this way. We'll look at the back of these seats right now, actually, as I open up the rear door. You can see that we have shocks on here, just like you would on something like a mountain bike. So you can put different air pressures in here depending on your weight. Toyota actually gives you a little chart so you know how much air to put in here, which is kind of cool. And then down here you can set it to either off-road or on-road mode. On-road mode is just going to keep it fixed like a normal seat. The off-road mode is going to give you that flex, and it kind of moves around to help keep you cushioned, and that's going to take a lot of the stress off of you while you're off-roading. The only problem with these seats is you can see that this apparatus here on the back does take up quite a bit of your legroom, so I am bumping into these seats with my knees. This is not a very comfortable position to be in. So when you get the TRD Pro, which is the only way to get these seats, you're kind of making your Tacoma effectively a 2-seater. Now, elsewhere in the interior, we do have kind of the upper end of what's available in a Tacoma in terms of features. We've got a nice TRD Pro steering wheel here. We've got the little red 12 o'clock marker. We've got our digital gauges, a red TRD badge, as well as a red TRD shifter. We've got the big screen that you expect from the Tacoma. We also have Toyota written out here with this kind of faux carbon fiber finish, lots of red stitching and little red around the Toyota badge. We do get a sunroof on this model as well. So it is a very, very nice premium interior, but also a very sporty looking one as well. So now let's hop behind the wheel of the TRD Pro, and straight away we are going to test it with a jump. This is exactly what the TRD Pro Tacoma was built for. So let's do it. We're gonna get up to about 40 miles an hour. The Fox shock's working overtime. And here we go. Woohoo! Ooh. We're gonna go over one more. Woo! Oh, yes. So as we saw, we've got the Fox internal bypass shocks. with the different settings. We have it right now set on the 2 setting because we're doing kind of some fast off-road stuff. We also have a 3rd setting to make it even a little bit firmer for some really big impacts. And I want to talk a little bit about the ISO dynamic seat that I'm sitting in. We've got the shocks in here kind of taking off some of the brutal beating that I would otherwise be getting from this off-road terrain. And you might see the camera shaking around quite a bit, but the seat itself is actually keeping me nice and even. I can feel it kind of flexing as the truck does. So I'm having to do a little bit less work with my core to keep myself in check, which is, it's not super noticeable, but that's kind of a good thing. You don't want to notice that you're not doing quite as much work. It's a really neat seat for sure. And now we're kind of on this nice dirt trail part where I can really feel the seat flexing as the truck does, really just keeping me exactly where I need to be. The bolsters are a really nice width on this. It's exactly what you'd want for kind of fast performance off-road driving like what we're doing right now. And this may only be a 4-cylinder, but oh man, the amount of torque and grunt that it has for an application like this, it feels small. The Tacoma has always been my favorite of the TRD Pro models because it has just the best clearances. It's flexible, it's agile. You know, the Sequoia and the Tundra are just a little bit big for something like this. The Tacoma just flies like a goat through these. This is a really fun off-road truck. And now, I'm not sure if I've saved the best for last, but certainly the newest for last. This is the new Tacoma Trail Hunter. This is the newest addition to the Tacoma family. So this kind of sits parallel with the TRD Pro, but as we're about to see, it does have a lot of a different vibe than what you're gonna get on the TRD Pro. So this is a Trail Hunter exclusive color called Bronze Oxide. It looks really cool. It's kind of a greenish bronze. We've got the Toyota Heritage grille here, just like we get on the TRD Pro. But we do have a light bar underneath there, as like we do on the TRD Pro. We also have these rigid fog lights. These actually can change colors, so you can have like a white or a yellow light. I think that looks really cool. And then as we get into the side, we're gonna see how this differs from the TRD Pro. So first of all, we've got these bronze 18-inch wheels rather than the black ones we get on the TRD Pro. We still get Goodyear Wrangler rugged terrain tires, so not mud terrains, they are a rugged terrain. But the big difference here on the Trail Hunter is instead of the Fox shocks, we're gonna have these Old Man Emu shocks. So I was speaking to Sheldon Brown, who's the chief engineer for the Tacoma, and he was telling us that these shocks are made to be a little bit better for overlanding. That's the slow speed crawling. If you kind of have a lot in the bed, you kind of have a big load on it. Whereas the Fox shocks that are on that TRD Pro are made for kind of the fast stuff. So it is a little bit of a different truck here. We do have our air intake snorkel here. I wouldn't really call it a snorkel, more of an air intake. It is meant to give you clean air and so you don't get all dust in your air intake, but it's really not made for water fording. I'm loving the Trail Hunter badge down here. I think that is a really neat looking badge. We also have our rock rail down here. This one is more pushed out from the body than it is on the TRD Pro. We also have our ARB Sport Bar back here. This does come standard. I believe you can also extend this all the way across the bed as well, optionally. Now, interesting here, this is actually the 6-foot bed. So this is the longer bed. So if you're planning on doing kind of more with your Tacoma, like in terms of putting stuff in there, maybe you have a lot of camping equipment, whatever, this is going to be actually better than that TRD Pro is going to be. Here at the back, we've got our ARB bumper back here, steel. We've got some tow hooks down here with our spare tire. It's a really good looking truck. It's just not quite as aggressive as it is on the TRD Pro. And if that's what you're looking for, a very capable off-road version of the Tacoma that doesn't scream and shout performance, the Trail Hunter might be the one you want. And if we look inside the Trail Hunter model, we're gonna notice that it is very different thematically than the TRD Pro. You don't get the ISOFlex seats. Instead, you kind of have this I would call it like a stone color with this kind of cool yellow here at the top. This is a very comfortable seat. It is heated and ventilated as well. This is kind of a top trim level still for Tacoma. We've got our Trail Hunter rubber floor mats. Again, I really like that Trail Hunter logo. I think it looks really cool. We've got the nice perforated steering wheel here. Again, looks great. Digital gauge cluster, the giant screen that is pretty familiar now on all of the Tacomas here. Got some cool gauges there. We've got the nice screen. I love this kind of stone effect here. At least that's what it kind of looks like it's made out of stone with the Toyota logo and our little shelf right here. We have more of that yellow stitching here. This is just like a really, really nice cabin. It looks a lot more subtle, a lot more elegant, I would say, than the TRD Pro. You've got your little Trail Hunter badge right here on the door as well. I could really vibe with this interior, and honestly, I think for most people, this is going to be the interior that is a little softer and a little nicer even than the TRD Pro. And of course, the main benefit here on the Trail Hunter as we look in the back, because we don't have those ISOFlex seats, you're going to have more legroom. Now, the Tacoma, not the greatest in terms of legroom, but at least I don't have those big old shocks blocking my knees, so I can slightly more comfortably fit back here. Again, not great, but if you plan to ever have people in the back, you're probably going to prefer the Trail Hunter over the TRD Pro. So now let's hop into the brand new trim level for the Tacoma, the Trail Hunter. And the important thing to note about the Trail Hunter is that it's more of an overlanding type vehicle. It's not really kind of the Baja fast off-roading that the TRD Pro is built for. So a little bit different flavor here. Instead of the Fox shocks, the internal bypass that you got on the TRD Pro, we've got Old Man Emu forged monotube shocks. We still have 33-inch tires on here with 18-inch bronze wheels. But the thing about the Trail Hunter is you can actually get a 5 or a 6 foot bed. So kind of interesting there, whereas the TRD Pro is only a 5 foot bed. So let's take it off-road and see what the Trail Hunter is all about. All right, now straight off the go in the Trail Hunter, we are in as extreme of modes as we can be. We're in 4-wheel low. We've got our sway bar stabilizer disconnect, which is kind of nice as well. And then I've put it into crawl control. So my foot is not on the throttle right now. We are just inching. I have it in the slowest setting right now. It has like 1 to 5 settings. And the truck is doing all of this by itself. It's going over the rocks. It's using the brakes. It's using the throttles. All I have to do is sit here with the steering wheel. This is so easy. If you are like a novice off-roader, you're going for the first time, you just put it on crawl control. It basically acts as off-road cruise control. It is figuring this stuff out all by itself. I'm just here to guide it. Gosh, this has gotten so much better. I remember I drove a 4Runner TRD Pro years ago, and it had crawl control, but it was kind of just like to get you down. Like it was basically hill descent control. I'm going to go ahead and put it one setting a little higher. Ooh, we are going up a steep incline right now, so I set it to a slightly higher speed to just let it go up. It is figuring all of this out. I've got these awesome cameras here. This is doing such a good job of helping me pinpoint exactly where to go, because I can't see anything. I'm pointing at the sky right now, and there we go. Now I see the Trail Hunter in front of me, so I can come to a stop. That was extremely impressive that the truck basically did that all by itself. And now we're on to our second obstacle, which is a downhill with quite a bit of wheel articulation here. So again, really good that we have that sway bar disconnect here. We can really feel how much the tires are moving and how much articulation we're getting on this. I'm right now in my 2 speed on my crawl control. I'm actually going to put it up to 3 as we get up to this little part right here. They actually told me to bring it to a stop. I'm going to actually put on my rear locking differential here. There we go. I get the alert that we have the rear differential locked, just to help us get up this just a little bit here. So we have a rear locking differential, but that's it. No center locks, no front lockers as well. I did have to give it a little bit of throttle there to get over that. So the crawl control was a little bit flummoxed by that. I think it might have figured it out had I just let it go a little bit, but really easy. I just gave it a little tap of the throttle, and we're completely over it just fine. So I'll go ahead and sum up the Trail Hunter here. it's just a very different appearance-wise truck. You know, it has a very different vibe than the TRD Pro. So if you're not interested in how the TRD Pro looks, and then the interior is obviously a lot different as well. You don't get the crazy cool seats, but you do get more rear seat legroom. And I think this might be the more practical off-road truck for a lot of people, you know, that aren't doing high speed stuff. It has just as much capability off-road, really. The fact that you can get the longer bed with the Trail Hunter and you can't on the TRD Pro, that's going to make it a good sell for a lot of people. So I was very skeptical at first whether or not Toyota needed two hardcore off-road trims of the Tacoma, but this market is just blowing up, and I think Toyota was really smart to split it because you have two very different, still very cool, very capable versions of the Tacoma, and there's really no wrong way to go. You just have to ask yourself what type of off-roading you're doing and which one suits your needs the best. So that's going to wrap up our time driving the 2024 Toyota Tacoma Hybrid. If you're looking to get the hybrid trims of this truck, it's going to add about $3,600 to the price, but you're getting more power, more torque, more fuel efficiency as well. So if you're looking at getting the limited TRD Sport or TRD Off-Roads, you are going to be spending a significant amount more on this hybrid powertrain, but you are getting best-in-class torque. Now, let's talk about the Trail Hunter and the TRD Pro, the two trucks that we drove here in this video. Those are available only as hybrids, so there's no way to get a gas-only version. The TRD Pro is going to start at $63,900, making it the most expensive entrant into the Tacoma lineup. Now, the Trail Hunter is a little bit less. It's $62,900 if you want the 5-foot bed, or if you want the longer 6-foot bed, it's $63,400. So it is a little bit less than the TRD Pro, even if you get the longer bed. As we've talked about in this video, these are two very different vibes for what seem like they could be very similar off-road trucks, but they do serve a different purpose. The Trail Hunter being for overlanding, slow speed, crawling, and the TRD Pro for kind of fast Baja stuff. These are very expensive for mid-size trucks. This is way above even what the Ford Ranger Raptor starts at. And even if you take the Chevy Colorado ZR2 and add the Bison package, or the GMC AT4X and you add the AEV edition, this is still on the higher end of that. So you are paying quite a lot. But remember, the Tacoma TRD Pro was getting marked up in the previous generation. People were paying over sticker for it. So clearly there is an appetite for a very capable, very high performance off-road truck with a Toyota badge. So if that's what you're looking for, you are going to have to be willing to spend quite a bit of money on it. Is it worth it? I really have to spend a little bit more time with this hybrid powertrain. Based on my first impression, I would say this is possibly my favorite powertrain in the segment. It's so gutsy, it's so smooth, and the fuel economy is so great that the Tacoma with the hybrid might be worth the money. And I think it's a really great truck. Anyway, if you enjoyed this look at the 2024 Toyota Tacoma Hybrid, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to be alerted of our latest videos. And if you want to read my full written report on the Tacoma Hybrid, be sure to check out carpez.com. I'll see you next time.